have shepherded over have turned against me. They have broken the holy covenant between me and you. They have whored themselves with idols, whom they have crafted with thine own hand, and they have bowed themselves and worshipped these abominations. They have said, blessed be these idols, whom have led and provided for them 1,000 years. Since they have done this thing and taken my blessing and given it to the idols, my wrath is poured out upon the whole world. A decrepit sickness has been unleashed into the world, for all of their wickedness and worshiping death. They shall become decrepit things, spreading death. This is my judgment on all those who transgress my laws and who have defiled my covenant. Death. Death. But not for you and your brother. You shall stay here in my holy mountain as I test the entire world to see if they shall serve me or choose death. I have spoken, so shall it be.
Hello, and welcome to another episode on the telecast of The Word of the Most High Yah. I'm your host, Priest of the Most High, Lucifer D. Lambew. And today, we're in the book of Deuteronomy. So I assume, it is the thought recruits that you've already read, the previous books, Genesis, Exodus, Numbers, all the previous books to this book at the very least. And now we're starting the book of Deuteronomy. We're going to go over some keynotes. Alright? And again, if you have any questions, please leave those questions at the bottom of this video in the comments section. Our recruits. Okay, let's go ahead and get into it. We're going to talk about today one law for Israel and the strangers. We talked about that before in the various books, but we're reinforcing that again here in Deuteronomy. Also, we're talking about Yah, the highest court in the land. Did you know our Most High is the judge? Right? Yahuwah will also be talking about fear not, neither be discouraged in his walk in this truth. Okay, so let's go ahead and start getting into it. Turn with me. Turn with me to chapter 1. And we're going to be reading verse 16. We're also going to talk about how the law is Israel's inheritance, which should be on chapter 33, verse 4. So recruits were going to be, you guys are really more advanced in recruits, but the title sticks with you guys. Alright, so recruits, we're going to be jumping around a little bit, which is again a tribute to the fact that you guys have a lot of milk, and you should be taking on some meat. So we should be taking on some more solid nourishment capabilities. Okay, again, chapter 1, verse 16, and it says, "And I charged your judges at that time, saying, hear the curses between your brethren, and judge righteously between every man and his brother, and the stranger that is with him." So the Most High is already, through Moses, alluding to and supporting the fact that there was to be one law, right? You don't have a different law, a different reasoning for the rich versus the poor. You don't have a different law, different reasoning for the, for the lowly nobodies versus the famous or the high esteemed. You don't have a different law or reasoning for, us of the land, of the Israelites, and versus the Gentiles, with us out in mind, or the Gentiles of another nation living among Israel under the authority of Israel. Right? One law for all the people. And in that way, you judge righteously. Right? And that way you judge righteously. It's not saying that when we talk about, when the man of God talks about the other nations and whatever, and how the Most High is our God, it's not that the man of God is necessarily saying that the Most High isn't the God of the whole of all existence. It's not that we're saying the Most High isn't the Most High, which would include the Most High over everything. It's saying that the standards that the Most High gave the children of Israel via the law, via Yeshua's death for our sins, via this cup of wrath and the trial and tribulation, the affliction, the scourging that the Most High has given us as, brokered a special relationship with the Most High. Right? Though we are all children of Adam, though many are the seed of Abraham, the Most High is selected. And through these trials and tribulations or whatever or not, the Most High has made us separate unto himself. Right? Okay. So let's continue. Let's jump down to chapter 30, verse 4. Again, I know recruits ain't necessarily used to jumping around, but again, you guys should have much more stock in me now through reading of scriptures and whatever or not, and through covering the various different books that we've already covered. But that this again is meant to build you up. And it reads, chapter 30, verse 4, "If any of thine be driven out to the utmost parts of heaven, from thence will the Lord thy God gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee." Okay? Which is pretty amazing, because the Most High is basically saying that he would gather he would gather us even from the pit of hell. Okay. So that's interesting. Looking for my pen here. I'm gonna have to put a notey on this one. The Most High gathering us is an inheritance to us. It is, again, an annotation of that special relationship that the Most High has with us. Because he's saying in that verse, chapter 33, verse 4, that he would be willing to gather us even from hell. He didn't say that about the other nations. He didn't say that about the Gentiles. He says that about Israel. And everything he says, nothing comes back to him void. And that was what the Yeshua dying on the cross, that's what Yeshua dying, being hanged, lynched, so to speak, was all about. Going into the pit, going into death, and resurrecting, bringing out Israel from even there. Preparing a people that would be gathered back unto the Most High. So even those of our people who have died, gone off in this 400 years, even they, and rightly so, should be punished with hell. Even they can be redeemed because of the Most High's willingness to gather his people even from such a place. Right? Okay. Let's go ahead. And on the whole one law for one stranger, just a little note on that one. If you were to go back to Numbers chapter 35, we dealt with that on verse 15. One law for Israel and the strangers. Alright? And just checking on that real quick, it says, "This 6 cities shall be a refuge both of the children of Israel and for the stranger and for the sojourner and among them, that everyone that killeth the person unawares may flee thither." So that was an example of how it wasn't just for the Israelites, these sanctuary cities, these different various laws, but also for the strangers that lived among us. And there's other examples that we've already covered. Okay, so turn with me to verse 17. Still same chapter 1, but verse 17 now. We'll be discussing how the Most High is our highest court in the land. And it reads, Ye shall not respect persons in judgment, but you shall hear the small as well as the great. You shall not be afraid of the face of man, for the judgment is God's, and the cause that is too hard for you, bring it unto me, and I will hear it. You see, the Most High is a judge. His court's the highest in the land. Of course, he's also letting you know not to fear the face of man. It's not, the judges of this earth's decision, this or that. It's the Most High's decision. The Most High has the man of God, and we put our faith in him, which is also the reason why, again, it's one law for all people, because because there's no respecter of persons. Because Most High is no respecter of persons. It's not like He's gonna change the law because He wants to, because He sees a famous person or a person of high esteem, again, versus somebody who's nobody or nothing. Alright. Let's continue on with the fear not. Let's go to still chapter 1, but let's go turn to verse 21. We're going to read 21, 39, 30, and 30. Yeah, 21, 39, 30. Alright, so let's go to verse 21. Behold, the Lord thy God hath set the land before thee. Go up and possess it, as the Lord God of thy fathers has said unto thee. Fear not, neither be discouraged. Right? Basically what that saying is, as a precept, not just in going into the land of milk and honey, but in all things that the Most High has you do in the Spirit of the Most High. Not to fear, right? We have brothers going through courts systems, brothers dealing with our enemies, always in the battlefield. Our brothers doing the work of the Most High on those street corners, in the back booth, and the things that the Most High has the brethren do to spread this truth and spread this word. The Most High is basically saying, don't be discouraged in pushing this truth, and don't fear the face of men. Don't be afraid in the different trials and tribulations that come before thee, pushing this truth and doing the word of the Most High and doing the will of the Most High. So He's with us, and the battle is His. It's not that those who have faith in the Most High don't fail, because it's not based on us and our efforts. It's based on our faith in Him and His effort, and He don't fail, and the battle is His, and He give it to whom He give it to. Give it to whom He may. Right? Fire through. So have your faith in the Most High, in all the things that you do, in His work, in His word, in truth, because they will be given over, because the battle is His, ultimately, and not to be afraid. All right, have courage. Verse 39. Despite what the situation looks like, despite what the opposition seems like. Moreover, your little ones which ye said should be a prey, and your children which in that day had no knowledge between good and evil, they shall go in thither, and unto them will I give it, and they shall possess it. He's referring to the generation of the children of Israel that first tried to go into the land, but didn't, because they had fear, they lacked courage, and they murmured against the Most High because of a lack of faith. They told each other that the Most High would bring them into the land to kill them, and that the giants that were in the land of milk and honey would make a prey to their children. So the Most High, as you should know, had them walk around as a punishment in the wilderness for 40 years until that generation who had said all those things would die. And the children whom they said would be a prey, those are the children now that is expected to go forth into the land of milk and honey. Alright, verse 30. Verse 30, that's supposed to be verse 40. Verse 30. The Lord your God, which goeth before you, he shall fight for you, according to all that he did for you in Egypt before your eyes. Okay? And again, that's saying that the Most High is going to fight for Israel. Is going to fight for the man of God who is courageous and have courage. You know, who is not fearful. Does his work in truth and sincerity. Pushes this with vigor and fire, spirit and truth, and has our faith in the Most High. He will fight for us. You know, and you may stammer and stutter. You know, you may be not polished in every aspect. But if you have your faith in the Most High, he has the power and the desire and the long outstretched arm to save you, no matter where you are, no matter where you're at, no matter what trials and tribulations you're going through. But see, you gotta have faith, you gotta have courage, you know, faith in the Most High, that he delivers, and come back to him in truth, to the best of your ability, his law, statutes, and commandments, and know that he will fight for you, have faith that he will fight for you, you know. It's not all about you, what you can think of. We fight these demons as men of God every day. You know? And the perfect stuff don't always come out of our mouth. I mean, it's not our inclination, our thoughts that are so perfect that, you know, nobody can touch us on a verbal tip or on a physical tip or anything else. It's the Most High who gives the knowledge of these scriptures. It's to his glory and to his honor. And it's to his credit that the men of God are able, through his power, to deal with these devils. And it really comes down to faith in him and not in yourself. The man of God doesn't have faith in his own words. The man of God don't have faith in his own mind, his own precepts, his own ideas. Right? He has faith in that which the Most High has given him. He has faith in the Most High's words, the Most High's mind, the Most High's idea. Right? Because it's the man of God, the one who fights and wins his battles, is the Most High. It's not himself. Right? He puts his faith in the Most High to win the battle. That's how he knows the battle's going to be won, before one strike has even been made. The man of God asks the Most High to fight for him, and trusts that the Most High is apt and willing and desirous to do so, and will have victory. Alright, turn with me to chapter 31. We're going to read verse 23. So we're back into the 30s. Again, chapter 31 and verse 23. And he gave Joshua, the son of Nun, a charge, and said, Be strong and of good courage, for thou shalt bring the children of Israel into the land which I swear unto them, and I will be with thee. Right? So being strong and of good courage is what the Most High is his message to the men of God. He says he will be with thee. Right? You know? And again, that's just a precept. Now is the time, O Israel, to to make your choice. Come back to serving the God of Israel in spirit and in truth while there's still time. The Most High has sent His servants to guide you in His ways. Put your faith in Yahshua HaMashiach, for this is the way, O Israel, walk therein. Or choose the world to your peril. For him are cold. Choose wisely, but be not lukewarm. For in that day, for those of you who are lukewarm, he will spit you out of his mouth, and there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. So choose, and choose now. Not just in going into the land of milk and honey, praise be the Most High. It's going to take courage to do that, right? Strength to do that, being strong and good courage to do that. But that's in everything. You know, if ye have eyes that can see, ears that can hear. It's being strong and of good courage in this ministry. You know, that the Most High is with the men of God, and the Most High is providing the men of God the understanding of the Scriptures, and to be able to translate and give the light that the Most High has given us to others in concerns with the Scriptures, right? That it would be His word spoken in regards to His word and not ours. That it would be, you know, His Spirit articulating the mysteries of the Scriptures, not ours. you know, and that his spirit would guide the man of God in all that the man of God does. Need be done. That's why he says that he would be with him. Because carnality, man, it's carnal people all day long. They can't see the Most High. With flesh, you can't see and perceive the Spirit. So all they see is just the man of God, as if he's there by himself, as if he's just standing all alone. And all they understand is carnality. Who is he? What has he got? How many people in his, does he have a church? Is he in a building? How many subscribers do they have? How many views do they have? How many clicks does he create? That's carnal things. With carnal eyes and with carnal mind, you can't please or see the Most High. Carnality is blindness when it comes to spirituality, when it comes to the spiritual things, when it comes to the higher ranging truth. You know? But that be neat for you, that be neat. Okay, so let's move to the 12 people that were sent to spy out the land of milk and honey. Chapter 1, still, verse 23. And it says, and they saying, please me all, and the saying pleased me well, and I took 12 men of you, one of a tribe. So again, he's explaining to them about how they spied out the land and how one person from each tribe was chosen to go spy out the land. And that's really reminiscent in precept, in concept, in spirit, right? I mean, because the physical aspect, the historical aspect is, yes, he did pick one out of 12, one of each of the 12 tribes of Israel to go spy out the land of milk and honey, so that they would have a decision to be able to go in, or they would be able to know what to expect or what's going on, right? But it's also precept too, how the Most High is choosing 12,000 of each of the 12 tribes of Israel, and they chose them from the beginning, or from the foundation of the earth, to go out and to possess the kingdom, you know, as rulers, as dominion, having dominion, to go out and possess eternity early, the first fruits of Israel, right? You know, and it's also how the awakened Israelites in this truth have been chosen out of, like, their family. Right? There's very few times you see brothers out there on the street corners that are literally brothers in the flesh. And then you got, even in the camps, different various camps or whatever or not, those brothers who were chosen out from even them, you know, to push the Most High's truth for the Most High and for the Most High only. And after you got those camps that are coming out that don't accept tithes and offerings of money, that don't ask for money, that don't have 501c3s, deal with the devil for money, that are just doing this truth, selling it not for the Most High, for the Most High only, and for the edification of the Most High, and for the good of Israel. So there's always a process of being drawn out and being pulled apart from you know, those who have less faith or lack of faith, and increasing in holiness, because Most High said, "Be ye separate," and that separation isn't just between Jew and Gentile, right? It isn't just between Jew. It's not even just between Jew and heathen, right? And the spirit is between Jew and Jew. Between those who have faith and those who do not. Between those who are bold as lions, who have courageousness, right? Who Most High is with, and those who not. Even in the house of Israel, amongst the Israelites, that's why it says the flesh profit you nothing. Because these extra qualities of faith is essential in being a man of God. Okay. So turn with me to we're still gonna be on chapter 20. We're still gonna be on chapter 1. We're going to go verses 26 to 28. We're going to be talking about Nephilim giants, the cause of that. Alright, so here we go. Verse 26 says, notwithstanding ye would not go up, but rebelled against the commandment of the Lord your God. And ye murmured in your tents and said, because the Lord hateth us, he hath brought us forth out of the land of Egypt to deliver us into the hand of the Amorites, to destroy us. Whither shall we go up? Our brethren have discouraged our hearts, saying, the people is greater and taller than we. The cities are great and walled up to heaven. And moreover, we have seen the sons of the Anakim there. So again, that's speaking to my original points about some of the things that they were saying amongst themselves, murmuring amongst themselves, that caused the children of Israel to lose heart and to lose that courageousness, and therefore the Most High rejected being with them. Okay? And that's what this is all about. That's what it's always been about. That's why the Spirit of the Most High is having me talk to you about being separate, even, and how that separation breaks down even amongst Israel. Right? Because there's always those people who lack faith, that try and speak, and that do speak in that lack of faith, that can affect everyone else that's faith not that strong, and cause the faith in the heart of Israel to fail. When, they would have gone up, surely, if the report had been better. I mean, there's plenty of situations and circumstances in the scriptures where a person's faith was increased and strengthened by the talk of the enemy, by the talk of the people, by a dream that they may have had or whatever, whatnot. There were things that the Most High utilized to build up people's faith. But here amongst Israel, amongst the 12 people who were sent out, chosen to be sent out to look at the land and to come back, 10 of the 12, right, chose to go against and hinder the spirit of courageousness in Israel because they themselves lack faith. So you can't listen to the cowards and the faithless, right? That's what that separation is about as well. You got to be mindful of those things, even amongst Israel, right? That spirit of fear, that spirit of unconfidence, that spirit of ill faith. Not in our, not confidence and all that stuff in ourselves, but in the Most High, right? Because like we went over, the battle is His. The battle is His. Because not having faith is what removes the Most High from you. Right? I mean, you may be in court, you may be stammering, you may not know all of their laws and all of their whatnot. But it ain't you fighting that case. It's not you, working in the background, in the backdrop. It's the Most High. And it's not you, your words, and how you communicate your words that ultimately decide anything about whether it goes in your favor or not, but it's the Most High. And that experience is what strengthens our faith, right? I mean, just be honest and honest with you to know, just on a personal note, brother's an idiot, I mean, if it was left to a nigga's own devices, I mean, my goodness. Nothing would make sense. I mean, everything get all screwed up. But the knowledge and the faith and the experience that it's the Most High, it's not you. It's not the man of God. It's the Most High that makes or takes the little things, even some of the foolish things, even some of the silly things, and confounds the wise with it. Right? That brings forth, the man of God. See, the Jews of Scripture, we're the so-called Negroes in this country. We're at the very bottom of society. The Most High didn't sin against against Egypt, against Edom, against these self-proclaimed white people. He didn't sin like Asians or these other Gentile nations that have their language, have their land, have their power structure. He didn't send them against Edom with the word of God. He sent the lowly. He sent the very bottom of society. He sent the slaves of this country. Just like when he sent Moses. Moses was an Israelite, a Levite. And they were slaves in Egypt. And he sent Moses all throughout Egypt. And ultimately when he left, came back to challenge the Pharaoh and deliver all of Israel. Right? So the Most High can take the littlest of things. If you have faith in Him, and you have faith that He is doing that which, it is our faith and belief that He is doing. That brings about the deliverance. Because it's the name of the game is for our enemies is trying to, even our enemies within Israel, is trying to take away the confidence of the man of God. Trying to make the man of God doubt. Trying to make the man of God question within himself whether he's really alone or whether the Most High is really with him. Right? I mean, you recruits are sent out to street corners. How many of you are still out there on those street corners on the Sabbath days, whatever day that you have available, preaching His truth? Prayerfully, all of you. Right? Prayerfully, all of you. Prayerfully, every single one of you, the Most High has not allowed one of you to slip out of His hand. And you may meet people who started this truth and fell out of the truth for whatever given reason. It's still the truth. And that's why you have to guard your heart and your mind and your faith in the truth. Because that's how the Most High works with the men of God. The amount of faith that you have in Him is a testimony to how much He's with you, because the Most High gives the faith, not in ourselves, but in Him. He gives it to us. It's a gift from Him through a relationship and experience. All right. Turn with me to chapter 2, verses 10 through 12. The T.M.H dwelt therein in the time past, a people great and many and tall as the Anakims, which also were accounted giants as the Anakims, but the Moabites called them Amims. The Arims also dwelt in Seir before time, but the children of Esau succeeded them when they had destroyed them from before them, and dwelt in their stead, as Israel did unto the land of his possession, which the Lord gave unto them. So there was giants, and there was different names of the giants. Going also to the point of what we were talking about earlier, recruit, that there were many different things in the land of milk and honey that made the people lose heart and decide not to enter into the land as the Most High told them to. But don't get it twisted. Those who didn't have faith lost faith that they didn't have. Right? Those who had no inheritance lost the inheritance that they didn't have. Okay? If you have faith in the Most High and you put your faith in Him and you let Him precede you and put the words in your mouth and put and guide you, then you ain't gonna lose that because some person with no faith comes around talking. Right? So those whom the faith was taken from is because they had no faith to begin with. Just like the Most High gives an inheritance, He's not gonna go ahead and take that inheritance away, because those whom He gave the inheritance to, vis-a-vis 12,000 for each of 12 tribes of Israel, the anointed of Israel, who will possess the land, who will possess the inheritance, who will possess the everlasting life, who will be the children of the living God, they ain't gonna lose that. They ain't gonna lose it. Most High ain't gonna let them lose it. No matter how long this takes, no matter how long, no matter how many battles they have to fight, no matter how many enemies the Most High has to put down, they're gonna get what the Most High has for them, and none of them are gonna be taken out of His hand. But see, 2/3 of our people, those whom ain't no inheritance, have no inheritance, they ain't gonna get no inheritance. Who have no lot with the Most High, they ain't gonna get a lot with the Most High. That's what the Most High says, again, the flesh profit you nothing. Right? Those of you who have, who have no faith, it's not because somebody took your faith from you, because you didn't have none to begin with. Again, be ye separate. As is written, make no man's flesh your own. Right? Study to show yourself approved. You may be out there on those street corners I mean, even in this ministry, you're gonna be out there on those street corners. There may be other people who listen to other recruits that listen to the word of Yah. You know, don't put your flesh their flesh. I mean, if somebody loses faith or somebody loses hope out there or gets discouraged or whatever, whatnot, that's them. Be ye separate. Have your own relationship with the Most High in the sense of you're doing it for Him exclusively. You're not doing it for the man next to you. You're not doing it for anybody else but the Most High. He's your primary reason. And this is an individual walk. Recruit. Right? As much as time we're spending together, O Israel, going over the scripture. Thank you. Thank you. Let him go.
Should've killed me. Should've killed me, boy. Should've killed me. I'll get you. Get you. And your little ninja boy.
Real. You must focus. You must allow your weapon to become a part of you.
Or whatever, whatnot. When you're out there on those street corners, when you're in your private places, you know, it's not my or anybody else's voice that you hear. It's the Spirit of the Most High, the Most High Spirit that is with you, the Most High Spirit that guides you and opens up your eyes to the scriptures and to the secrets of the scriptures. Right? That's what it means when it says, let those of eyes see and let those of ears hear. You know, those who have a relationship with the Spirit of the Most High can understand the word that the Most High is putting out. Not everybody listening to this, to these Bible studies, get it. because the Most High chooses whom he gives it to and whom he does not. Right? But if it be meat to you, let it be meat. If you have eyes to see and ears to hear what the spirits have me talk to you about, then hear it. And if not, then don't worry about it. All right, turn with me. We're going to read. Turn with me to chapter 1. We're going to read verse 29 through 33. And it goes. And it goes, then I said unto you, dread not, neither be afraid of them. Again, referring to the giants. The Lord your God, which goeth before you, he shall fight for you according to all that he did for you in Egypt before your eyes. And in the wilderness where thou hast seen how that the Lord thy God bare thee as a man doth bear his son, in all the way that ye went until ye came into this place. Yet in the thing ye did not believe the Lord your God, who went in the way before you to search you out a place to pitch your tents in, and fire by night to show you by the way ye should go, and a cloud by day. You see, now, this historically is talking about how, and you guys have read the book of Numbers and so forth, Exodus. It's referring to how he guided Israel by cloud by day, fire by night. When the cloud rested, they rested. When the cloud went up, they left out. And so in this fashion, the Most High basically led them about like a father, and he considers Israel his son, right? The children of Israel, not only his habitation, he dwells within us, but also his children. And that speaks again in spirit to the men of God, to the chosen out of Israel, right? Serving him in truth, in spirit, fire, with courage, that he is with you and he is leading you about. And if you have faith in that and have faith in him, that will be the case. That will come to pass. But if you don't have faith, and you're not encouraged in him to lead you, to guide you, to be with you, then he won't. Then there's good possibility he won't. And here the Most High is telling them that it's because of their lack of faith that even that which he was doing for them, was coming to naught, right? Because he led the Israelites out of Egypt to go into the land of milk and honey, but yet only 2 of them made it to the land of milk and honey, and of course the generation of children. So all those people who was led out of Egypt, who've seen all the miracles or whatever, were not lacked the faith to enter in. Recruits. And that's what we're going over. All the people who may have watched the first episode of the Word of God and have watched it throughout or whatever, not all those people have the faith to finish, have the faith to go and do the work. Not all of them have the faith in the Most High to allow the Most High to walk with them, to walk with the Most High. Not all of them are chosen. Even in the house of Israel, such as the story with Israel and these different various camps, and with even the different men of God out there on the street corners. The deciding factor is faith, courage, between Israel, between those out there doing the work, the fruit. Notice how we're not. Notice how the Spirit's not having us say necessarily knowledge or information, shall I say? But faith and works working hand in hand is a deciding factor, because it takes faith to do this work. And knowledge will come. You know, the Most High, if He be with you and walk with you, He has all the knowledge. So He can add and subtract and move and poke and get you where He wants you to be, because He's with you. But see, if you have not the faith that He would even be with you, then regardless of how much knowledge you have, if the Most High ain't with you, you got nothing. You got snake eyes. Right? Like it's written, it says, it is better to one basically to wait on the Lord than to go forth without a guide. All right, but let's continue. Still in chapter 1, we're going to read verse 39. And it's going to continue in what we were talking about when it comes to the little ones. And it says, moreover, your little ones, which ye said should be a prey, and your children, which in that day had no knowledge between good and evil, they shall go in thither, and unto them will I give it, and they shall possess it. Having no knowledge of good and evil. Having no knowledge. These were kids. They wasn't sitting there murmuring against the Most High. They didn't even know what the heck was going on. They didn't know about all these giants. They didn't understand all that stuff. You know, that was just that was a fairy tale to these little children. They had no idea. You know, and that's why the Most High says, be like children in this truth, basically. And if you're not like a child, you know, you ain't going to enter into the kingdom of heaven. Surely the kingdom of heaven is made for such as these. Right? So what he's saying? He's saying, you know, having knowledge of good and evil. He's like, that's what he means when he says, be of good cheer when you're going into the battle. That's what he means when he says, being courageous, knowing that he is with you. You know, having that sound mind that's focused and faith that is separate from whatever else everybody else is doing. All right, you know, children, they get in their own world. They're sitting there playing with their toys or whatever, and it doesn't matter what the hell's going on. They're just in that mode. They're just right there. And such is the same when it comes to this truth, right? Focus in on this truth. Focus in on, you know, the Most High and what He wants from you. Focus your faith in Him. Don't let it be tied to men or be tied to others. It doesn't mean that you can't learn from people. Praise be to God. You know, that's what we're here for. That's what the men of God are here for. To shine not only the light of the Gentiles, but to bring the truth of His kingdom and the Most High to Israel. It just means not to have your faith tied up into what happens with them. The goings over with somebody else. These are all individual relationships with the Most High. He deserves your complete and utter focus. Right? You got camps getting busted up or whatever. Not now. The people, they just they lose their faith in the Most High. They get out of the truth because maybe a person goes down, or maybe whatever happens to somebody else that maybe they're that they looked up to, or whatever, whatnot, and now they're out because of what they saw with somebody else. Don't make somebody else's flesh your flesh. Pray the Yahweh. I mean, not even me, not even this, right? You know, brothers could be gone. Like, Most High shows up, leads a brother out, leads Israel out. You're in tribulation period of time. You can't be like, oh, because the original people who made these videos, the original people that you're studying under, because they're not around, you know, it's of naught. I mean, I went to jail for 11 days, right? When they took my daughter or whatever, whatnot, I didn't know whether I'd ever be out here making another video. Because of the wickedness of this system, and because there's plenty of people, innocent people that are in the jailhouses right now. I have faith in the Most High for victory. But I have faith in the Most High, period. Right? Most High could have not even had me go to jail for 11 days. He could have just not do that, period. But it's His will, it's not my will. You know? And it shouldn't be such, recruits, that, you know, if I went to jail, that somebody's like, you know, I'm not going to be talking about this. He went to jail for 11 days. If he was in jail, I'm not going to be in this truth no more, because if he went to jail and Most High didn't save him, then how the hell could Most High save me? Number one, fuck jail. Right? Yeshua went to jail. Yeshua was a felon. Yeshua was sentenced to death. So that's not the measuring stick of what the Most High can do in order to save the man of God. Yeshua was saved not because he went to jail. It's not like, okay, he went to jail so he wasn't saved. He was saved when he was raised from the dead. Right? The power of God was shown by raising him from the dead, not by preventing him from going to jail. So beware of carnality. Beware of being carnal and seeing with fleshly eyes. Right? These tribulations that we go through, they are nothing compared to, you know, the fullness of God's promise on the other end. They're nothing compared to it. Nothing at all. And tribulations that you're going through, and that you go through out there on the street corners, whether you're being arrested, whether you're being beaten by these devils that, you know, come after you, jump on the stage, you know, whatever could happen. That by and of itself doesn't mean that the Most High is not with you. The Most High scourges those whom He loves. And the trials and tribulations that you've gone through and go through is a testament to His love. Not that He's not with us, but that because He's with us, because, you know, He's dealing with us, that is the reason why we go through trial and tribulation. Okay? To strengthen our faith, to give us the experience and hope in Him. Well, thank you for watching. Man does not live by bread alone, but by the very word of the Most High. Thank you for watching the Word of the Most High. Yeah, I'm your host, Priest of the Most High, Lucifer D. Lambew, and I look forward to seeing you again next time.
It's not destroyed, actually. What they were called is, they were whitewashed.
Okay.
During the Renaissance period of time, they basically took, the conquering nation basically took the image of Christ, which, maybe you know, maybe you don't know, is a black man. And in Revelation they tell you what color he is because it tells you that. And they made him look white, and they made the Bible look white. What color is that? Jews are an olive color. Do you know what the word Jew comes from? Yeah, what the word Jew comes from? What's the word Jew short for? But you know that they're olive color, but you don't know what the name of them comes from. I'll answer that question. The name of Jews come from the house of Judah. And the house of Judah, incidentally, are the Negroes here in America. We're from the house of Judah as put forth in the street. There's nothing scriptural that tells us it's okay that you don't agree with it, because truth is truth whether you want to accept it or not. If you don't believe,
I know that, that's why I'm listening. That's why I'm tolerating you.
You don't have to tolerate me because it's not my truth. It's the truth of the Bible, the very book that you say you represent. See, you can say to yourself, I don't believe this aspect, I don't believe that aspect, but you're not going against me, you're going against the very book that you say you're here to preach, teach, and show us. Because they told me, I didn't write that, I'm not the author of that.
I'm not one of your church
the author of that. I'm not a church.
Yeah, I'm not one of your stewards. I'm a teacher, so I don't need to try to take it.
Okay.
You understand that?
Okay.
Don't try to
You say that you're a teacher. Fine, I'm fine.
you try to teach.
So when you say you're a teacher,
Yes, I
the
am.
question is this. Okay.
In your mind,
As a teacher,
this is the question in your
sure,
mind.
but if you're a teacher, then you're
This
here to
is the question in your
teach.
mind.
So how can you teach if you can't answer questions which potential students may ask you? You're a teacher, so could you teach the $1 million question that's on the hearts and minds of the Negroes in this country, which is where they come from? It's in your